Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rangam LinkedIn Career Chat session. I'm your host. I'm Roshaunda Green. I'm an account manager for diversity and inclusion at Rangam. And today's topic is interview preparation tips. So, hope all you job seekers are tuned in and ready to get some great advice to prepare you for your next job interview. So, let me tell you about this great company that I work for. I work for Rangam. We are a staffing company where we provide candidates with jobs in every industry, at every level. So if you're tuning in today, please go to www.rangam.com and upload your candidate profile and your resume and start searching for jobs today. I always put the invitation out there that if you are searching for jobs and you're on the site, if you see some jobs that you're interested in, feel free to email Roshaunda at rangam.com and say, hey, Roshaunda, I applied for these jobs and here's my resume. And then I will review them, reach out to you for an informational interview, and send them directly to a recruiter. And I'll also discuss other jobs that you may not see on the portal because we have a team of recruiters that are working around the clock. So we put a few jobs on rangam.com and we have more jobs on the back end that you can't see because we fill them so quickly. So if you don't see any jobs that you're interested in, reach out to me and I can conduct an informational interview with you, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find something that will fit your skill set and level of expertise. Okay. So let me tell you about a great resume sweepstakes that we have going on right now. So it started April the 1st and we've extended it to July the 1st. So in order to be a contestant and win prizes for the sweepstakes, all you have to do is go to rangam.com, create your candidate profile, upload your resumes, follow Rangam on LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook and Instagram, all of the social media portals that we're on, and we'll select different winners. We've already had a few winners that won some great prizes. So you could be the next winner. Let me show you some great stuff that we have. We have an umbrella, we have an awesome shirt, we have a cup, we have a notebook, and we also have a bag. So if you want to win some of these prizes, go ahead and upload your resume and start your candidate profile on rangam.com. So let's jump right into these interview preparation tips. So the thing that a lot of candidates get frustrated with, first of all, they get frustrated. They're applying for jobs and then they're not getting any responses or interviews. And then you finally get that interview and you're so excited. And then you go to an interview and then you don't get a response back or you don't get the job. And sometimes you do move to the next interview level. But what you want to do is to ensure that you're maximizing your potential to go from job seeker to employee with every interview that you're in. Right? You got one shot and you got to make it count. And first impressions really mean a lot. So your preparation for your interview can really lead to you getting that job offer. Okay. So here's where we're going to really get you set up. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to conduct research on the company that you're interviewing with. And I'm not just talking about going to their site and, seeing, what they're about. I'm really talking about finding out about the department that you want to work in, your hiring manager, or even some people on the team. You really have to go a little deeper. So yes, go to that website of the company, check the career site, really check and see what's going on with the vision and the mission and the direction, but go a step further. Go on LinkedIn and find out, who's working in that department. Or if you have the name, and you usually will have this, if you have the name of the person that you're interviewing with, go and do research on them and then find out, what their career journey was or what they're focusing on in their department. And pay attention to some things that their department is doing. And they'll usually have that on their social media platforms, some projects, some initiatives, some wins, some webinars, some conferences that they're attending. You really want to be in sync so that when you're in your interview, you're talking about things that are relevant to them, that are relevant to your role, and that people are executing in the role that you're applying for. So these are all the things that I like to do. So, perfect example, some companies that I was interviewing for in the past. My interview was coming up that following week, and I noticed that after I got my interview confirmation, I immediately went to see, what was going on with them. Coincidentally, they had a conference. This is definitely before COVID, but I've also had interviews after COVID. If I find out they're having a conference or a workshop, or they written an article or have a white paper out there, or sharing any resources or information, I'm going to study that and be sure to share that during my interview. If they're having a conference, and there's so many free conferences right now, virtual conferences, register for that conference. Make sure you're attending sessions that align with your skill set, or the people on your team, or your hiring manager is speaking or attending, and really take a lot of notes. Be sure to have some questions while you're listening to the speaker, and they have a Q&A open after the session. This is what I call interview before the interview. So you can, attend that session and then ask questions to let people know who you are, what you're about, and how you understand what their focus is on. So I always say interview before the interview. Another thing that you can do is you join, the companies. Like if you want to work for Rangam, then you can, follow us on our social media platforms. And if we're sharing an article or if we're sharing information, then you would like, share, and comment on that. It's interviewing before the interview, letting people know who you are, because the companies that are on social media, people are always paying attention to, who's liking the post, who's sharing the post, and who's making comments. So that can really get you, associated with a lot of people in the company. And perfect example as of today. You want to work with Rangam, you come to the career chat. You ask questions, interviewing before the interview, making your presence known. There's so many things that you can do. And then when you have that interview, then you can share information. Oh, great information on that chat. I was able to use this to prepare for this interview. Or I attended your conference or virtual session or workshop, and based off of the job that I'm applying for, I see how I can use what I learned in the workshop to execute specific tasks. So you want to let them know what you learned and how you'll execute it in the role. Right? Don't just say, oh, just I went, and you didn't ask any questions, or you're not using that valuable information in your interview. You want to use it for your advantage. So when I say do your research, you're really not only getting information, but you're also looking for opportunities to interact and let that company know who you are. That is just something that you should always do. And practice your interview techniques and responses. If you go and Google right now interview questions, they have the top 99 interview questions, and they have them in the categories of behavioral interview questions. They have it all down. You should actually have someone either practice with you or turn your video camera on and just practice your interview responses to these questions. You can even get very specific. You can look at entry level, mid level, or executive level interview questions. You can look at questions by industry, human resources, IT, clinical, pharmaceutical, engineering. Whatever category that you're working in, you can find, whatever industry that you're working in, you can find core interview questions that are categorized, and just start getting really comfortable with answering those questions, because you don't want to get caught off guard. And when we're talking about preparation, it's really a lot of you doing your due diligence and research, before the interview, so that you feel more confident and you feel more comfortable in the interview. And that really comes across when you've done, your work and your presence. Now, this is where, you'll have a split opinion on this. But it's very important to dress based off of the industry and the job and the culture and the atmosphere. So if you're going for an industrial warehouse interview, they'll let you know wear steel-toed boots, probably wear jeans and a comfortable shirt, because usually you're going to take a tour of that warehouse. You're going to meet some team members. They're going to take you over to some equipment. Some interviews for warehouses even have tryouts. Well, they'll have you to come and work on the forklift and do a few things, or for an assembler role, they may have you kind of interview on site in that capacity, to see how well you perform, because resumes look great and you did great during the interview. Now let's put your skills to test. And they may have you test for that. So for that industry, that is very unique and different. If it's a professional role, and you dress professionally, whether it's virtual or it's on site. Some, especially in a lot of the tech roles, they'll let you know we're really laid back. It's very, casual. But even there, I wouldn't get too comfortable. I would probably be, business casual. I have on, a professional shirt and maybe, some khakis or something like that. I wouldn't, just do jeans and a wrinkled, t-shirt and just show up, super comfortable, but you still want to have a level of professional presence, right? So even if that environment is really relaxed, still have a level of professional presence. That means a lot. And when I talk about, the preparation and the test before, testing your equipment and all that kind of thing, what I really want you to really get down is your storytelling. And this is where I just can't talk enough about your research. So this helps me with my storytelling, and hopefully this advice will help you. So if I'm in a virtual interview, you want definitely focus on your camera, but I have my screen split. So if I'm doing whatever my virtual portal I'm connecting, I'll minimize that screen, and then I'll have my resume minimized. I'll have the job description, and then I'll have my research page. So I'm still, laser focused on making eye contact during that virtual interview, but I also can easily navigate excuse me, between my split screens. So in my storytelling, I'm going to have my resume there, but I'm going to have a customized resume. I am actually going to take a line item. Okay, so perfect example for an account manager. They want someone who is able to build client relationships. So I'll customize that line item in my resume to really expand on my metrics and my success with my client relationships. I'm also going to do research on that company and people in that job and that role, and try to find out what are some clients that they're currently working with. And I may not have, knowledge of working with that specific client, but if I have knowledge of working in that industry, then I'm going to really have a laser focus on talking about my previous success and experience with working with clients in that industry. So it's really, taking them through your story and making sure that they're seeing some key points that are in that job description that was on their company site, that was included in a post or an update on their social media or their company platform, right? Because what they're trying to see during the entire interview is, if you're working here, how are you going to successfully execute these tasks? And what will you bring, to the table? How will you elevate, this role? How will your presence help the team, the organization, the department to advance and move forward? So you really have to have your storytelling that's, incorporating your skill set, your experience, the job description, and what the company is looking for and the direction that they're moving in. So all of that should be included. And when you practice, and after you have all your documents done, you really go with that storytelling and building up your comfort level in that. And that not only will help you in interviews, but even when you're in a company and you start the job and you're, working with a team to help them to, get on board and to understand the direction of the projects or initiatives or what you're trying to execute. So storytelling plays an important role. So while you're building this skill set up during your interview preparation and during your interview with the hiring manager, you should also continue to build that, to help strengthen your overall career. Okay. And then we're going to talk about tests. Now, perfect example. My last chat session, my Wi-Fi went out several times, and I had to jump on my phone to finish my session. Now, yes, I tested my equipment, but you always have to have a backup for the backup for the backup. And I had the system downloaded on my computer, and I was able to jump right back into that. The chat session on my computer. So, what you want to make sure is that not 10 or 15 minutes before, as soon as you get your interview request and they have whatever technology, WebEx, Teams, Zoom, whatever they're going to use, you want to make sure it's downloaded on your computer. You want to make sure that you test it, test that mic, test the system requirements, test the audio, get your lighting, perfect, have a backdrop or a professional background, and really make sure that for that day of that everything is set, but you should not be setting it up on the day of. Right? So as soon as you get that interview request, start testing your technology and the systems to make sure that you're ready for your interview. And if you know that your role will be remote, then you should invest in a headset. Right? I had to go through about two or three to finally get this one that works very well. So just making sure, like I said, when you're interviewing, they're looking at, if I hire this person, how will they represent themselves with the team in meetings, with different internal or external clients. So you want to put your best foot forward. So if you invest in the technology that you need to make your interview the best experience possible, then that can carry on also into when they hire you. Especially if you're working for a remote role or a flex position where they have you in the office or remote sometimes, right? So, and if you're interviewing for an on-site position, then I would recommend the same thing. So definitely, you don't want to log in 1 minute or even 5 minutes before. You probably want to log in maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And even if you're sitting in the lobby, they pay attention to that. They know when you logged in. If it's an on-site interview and you're showing up, 15 minutes, before, then they, know when you arrived. There you may have to log in or check in with the front desk. The hiring manager knows that, and that shows that you're good with time management, that you're serious about the position, and that you're prepared. So, like I said, everything you do in your interview gets you closer to getting the role or further away from getting the role. So that's what you want to do. And in regards to your documents, I just want to really reiterate that because if you have all of your documents with you, then because some people, I've seen it so many times, you have an interview, your nerves get the best of you, and you start forgetting things that you know. So what you want to do is have those documents there, customize that resume, customize that job description, even have your cover letter, because you may have highlighted some things in your cover letter that helps you to explain detailed information that was in your resume, and then your company research. So when you have all those documents with you, whether it's the virtual screen that you split, or if you're on site and you're interviewing directly there with the hiring manager, it just puts you in the best light. And I can't say this enough, but the gratitude and the cover and the thank you letter after the interview really means a lot, and it makes you stand out as a candidate who has a strong professional presence, a good corporate etiquette, and really understand the interview process. So the good thing is, if you're doing a virtual interview, then sometimes you'll have that hiring manager's email. Sometimes you'll only have the recruiter's email, but email that recruiter that same day, hopefully immediately after, that interview, and you thank each individual and you customize that thank you letter. So if you some interviews are panel. So if you had a 3 to 5 panel interview or interview with 3 to 5 people individually, then you customize that cover letter based off of what their role is and your interaction if you were hired in that role. Okay, so perfect example. When I interviewed with Rangam, I interviewed with the different executives that I would be working with. So then my thank you letters were customized based off of their division and my interaction with them in that role and specific things that we discussed in that interview that I wanted to highlight. So don't just have a basic cover letter, thank you for your time. No, still use that to, push your highlights, your strengths, um, ideas and opportunities that you would bring to the table. So customize each, thank you note for each hiring manager throughout your interview process. And whether that's emailing the recruiter, or I know when I had on-site interviews, I would have a thank you note for each person, and I would start it off with the basic, gratitude, and then after the interview, I would sit there and I would fill out, just maybe 1 or 2 highlights, and then I would pass it to them before I left the room. Or sometimes I would ask the front desk to pass it to them if they needed to leave. So I'm just making sure that they're, getting my note of gratitude. Okay. And now we're going to go into our different industries. So in the beginning, I told you we have jobs in every industry at every level. And the good thing is, we're getting more and more remote jobs, right? Because some companies are not going back in the office, and some companies have roles that are going to be remote until COVID, or some will be permanently remote. So what I provided here are the jobs by category. So we have the operations, the warehouse, the clinical and scientific, and then we also have the finance. Let me scroll over a little bit here. We have the finance and the IT. So what I wanted you to see was the opportunities that you have if you come and work with us, right? These are all the industries that we serve, but I wanted to go a little deeper into that, right? Because we're talking about different jobs. And as a matter of fact, even before we get so many jobs in that I even added more jobs before this session. So let me go ahead and share some of the job descriptions, right? So we have a lot of customer service jobs in Atlanta right now. So for this specific job that we have at least 20 openings, I know right now. They want you to have call center experience, but what's unique about this role is that they want you to be bilingual. You can either be English and Spanish, or English and speak French. Those are what they're looking for in those roles. And we have some administrative assistant jobs in Memphis. We also have some sales analyst jobs in California. And that's good for operations. Now, for warehouse, we have tons of assembler jobs, forklift operator jobs. We have a lot of IT jobs. So one job that I'm looking at right now, it's a business intelligence ETL technical job. It's remote, and you're supporting the IT department. Okay. And then we also have, let's get into And we also have data entry specialist jobs. We have 100 of them right now. And they're in Elgin, Illinois. And we are constantly, trying to fill this huge request. So definitely reach out to us for that. And now I'll go over to more IT jobs. We have some technical product analyst jobs. We have some senior cybersecurity analyst jobs in New York, where you'll analyze and assess and create. Go ahead and read that. And you'll create. Hold on, I put so many job descriptions in here. And you'll create the network for security assessments. Okay. And then we have some support programmer jobs in Illinois. We also have some associate management analyst jobs in Minneapolis. Now let's get into our clinical and scientific jobs. So we have a greenhouse lab assistant in North Carolina. We have quality control, senior associate in California. You'll support the microbiology lab and tech teams with that. We have some analytical chemist jobs. We always have a lot of phlebotomist jobs, and we have those in various states at various levels. We have some part-time and full-time. We have levels 1, 2, and 3. So we have some finance jobs, some supply chain coordinators in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where you'll assist the asset planning team. We have some global procurement sourcing associate jobs where you'll support the sourcing projects. We have a senior accounts payable analyst where you'll oversee the system requirements. So those are just a few jobs. And what I do is I change the jobs out every week to highlight some of those. We call them, some of our hot jobs. So if you have any questions or need further information or want to have an informational interview, with me, you email Roshaunda at Rangam.com. Definitely follow Rangam on all the social media platforms. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Clubhouse, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat under Roshaunda Green. So you can always reach out to me. So just want to know, do we have any questions out there? Is there any other information I can provide? And while the questions are rolling in, I want to thank you for joining the session. Share this post with your connections. Invite others to join. I'm here every other Friday. I also do a Sourceable career chat session. So with Rangam, we connect candidates with different clients based off of their area of expertise. We also have a division of Rangam called Sourceable. And at Sourceable, we focus on providing candidates with autism, neurodivergence, and disabilities with clients who have autism at work programs or provide accommodations to help them succeed in the workplace. And I have that career chat session every other Monday. So Rangam is just a great company, and we try to provide career opportunities for all candidates. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions coming in. Okay, here we go. And if we don't have any questions, then that is fine because we are actually at time. I think I timed it perfect this week. So again, thank you for joining the chat session. Please, invite others to join you next time. And again, you can always reach out to Roshaunda at Rangam.com for an informational interview or to discuss some positions that you have applied for on Rangam.com, or just to reach out to me if you didn't see any positions that align with your area of expertise and experience. Then I can conduct an information interview with you and share other jobs that you may not have seen on our external portal, but I can see them on our internal portal. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great day and a great weekend. And until next time, just be safe. And hopefully this advice helped you with your job search. Goodbye.